All right. So earlier today, Robert Suarez signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. 3 years, $45 million. That's a bullpen arm that I would have loved for the Yankees to pick up. I think that contract is pretty reasonable. I know generally speaking, the Yankees don't like to spend a lot of money on bullpen arms. However, that's a guy that I would have wanted. So the Braves got themselves a good reliever. Now, there's been reports saying that, and this is according to Robert Murray, that teams are not liking what the Yankees are offering. So, whatever talks that they've had with Brian Cashman this week, teams are not liking what the Yankees are offering in terms of trades, contract, money, right? So here's the way I see it. I know a lot of folks are wondering, what is Cashman doing? But I asked this question on the flip side. What are teams asking for from the Yankees? Nobody seems to be talking about that. What are teams asking for from the Yankees? So because there was a report that came out yesterday saying that, Cody Bellinger is looking for 7 years and the Yankees are standing firm at 5. Can you blame them? I certainly don't. And you got to wonder what the other team's demands are, what the other players that are free agents, what their demands are, what the agents, like what Scott Boras, guys like him, what are they asking for, right? And if you've been paying attention, which I know a lot of you have been, the off season has been relatively slow compared to previous years. There hasn't been a whole lot of action. Usually during the winter meetings, there's a lot of action. There's been some, but nothing. This has been a little bit slower than previous years. And in general, a lot of teams are, holding back. They're not meeting the demands of what these players and what teams are asking for. So, I think you're gonna see stuff like this because the asking price from teams and free agents is ridiculously high. So you got to wonder who's going to crack first and when is it going to happen. So, just some food for thought. And again, in the Yankees case with Brian Cashman, a lot of teams are not liking what Cashman's offering, but what are they asking for from Brian Cashman? Because, he's a guy that doesn't like to get fleeced, and he's going to stand firm, love him or hate him. Anyway, let me know what you all think about this. I'll see y'all later.